Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Limnacker, and just want to share with you some of the top stories that we're following right now. Look, this is our top story at the moment on AtlantaNewsFirst.com. Atlanta police have arrested a man they say was pretending to be an Atlanta police officer downtown in the city. So they say an off-duty officer approached what he thought was another off-duty officer while patrolling parking lots in the downtown area, but he quickly realized something was wrong. The man's uniform was, quote, off. His body camera wasn't standard issue. Looked nervous, the real officer said. And then the officer called two of his supervisors in who had never seen the man before. He was then arrested after officers could not find his name in the certification records in that record system, according to Atlanta police. So this man was then taken to the Fulton County Jail. He is now facing a charge of impersonating a police officer. And, you know, Atlanta police saying that incidents like this really undermine the relationship we've built with our communities. We're grateful for these officers that they trusted their intuition, kept digging to find out the whole story. This is what the department said in a statement in part. The man, who has not been identified, told officers that he actually had applied to work for the department a few years back, but apparently failed a physical. APD is now looking to see if he previously impersonated an officer anywhere else, but if you think that perhaps you know something about that, then obviously you are encouraged to contact Atlanta police. Also want to let you know, sad news, a longtime Atlanta city councilman has passed away. Certainly the city council mourning the loss of its longest serving council member. City officials say Jim Maddox, affectionately known as the Dean of the Atlanta City Council, has died. He retired from the council in 2009 after serving 32 years and 8 terms in office as the representative for District 11 here. And, certainly, very heartbreaking for a lot of people who have been involved in the Atlanta City Council for many years. Atlanta City Council sharing a statement, their condolences and so forth, and certainly a lot of people mourning this loss. And in recognition of his dedication and service to the community and the city, Atlanta City Council says the Community Development and Human Services Committee unanimously passed an ordinance this week to honor Jim Maddox by name at the gateway to the Cascade Springs Nature Preserve. Also want to let you know we're following the latest regarding the indictments of the former President Donald Trump and his allies. 19 defendants in all indicted and are expected to be booked in the Fulton County Jail. This is all related to the probe into alleged interference in the 2020 Georgia election. But they do have until next Friday, August 25th, to turn themselves in. I want to point you to this story on our website. If you want to learn more about this, you can click here to see who are all the defendants' named. If you're getting lost, just go right to the top of our homepage, and then we have a tab called Trump Investigation. You can click there. And you can see all the latest because there's so much to this story. You can see the key figures, a timeline, read about the grand jurors. You can listen to the phone call that really started it all. And, it's something that we're going to continue to follow as the former president is expected here in Georgia before the 25th to turn himself in for processing. And then later on, we'll have an arraignment. Also want to let you know about this story because, obviously if you're with us, you're probably social media savvy. So there is an Atlanta area woman, Georgia woman, who is claiming that she received death threats because of a stolen Facebook profile. She's saying that these hackers essentially linked her page to other websites such as Facebook Marketplace and used that to sell, furniture, appliances, even puppies, and essentially rip people off. And this was reported to our own Harry Samler, and he did a piece on it, and Better Call Harry. But it's something you may want to check out because this victim, Kim Henley, saying that she's reached out to Facebook numerous times, spent 6 months reporting the hacked account to Facebook, but the profile stayed online, and raising a lot of concerns since so many of us have Facebook. Something you may want to check out, and just kind of a warning for everyone to be cautious of these kind of risks out there. Okay, want to turn now to a look outside because it just looks beautiful out there, and it's been feeling so comfortable lately compared to that extreme heat that we felt last week.
Yeah.
So we have meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi to tell us all about it.
Yeah, thanks so much, Joy. It is. It is just such a nice difference compared to the past couple of days that we've had with the crazy heat. And of course, the beginning of this month, it was just so stormy. I am here to tell you we are going to get a nice long break from that. So lots of good news in the weather department after what felt like weeks of bad news between heat and storms and just everything that caused very disruptive weather for the end of July and the start of August. As you're looking out over Midtown from the top end of the perimeter and downtown from the top end of the perimeter, lots of blue sky out there, seeing a few of those wispy cirrus clouds. And when you see cirrus clouds like that, that usually indicates some sort of pattern change. And of course, our pattern change was that cold front that moved through. Taking a look over Marietta Square, look at that. Nothing but blue sky. That looks like an October blue, doesn't it? Just a nice fall blue sky. Oh, beautiful. Just beautiful. Enjoy it. And the weather is finally matching the beauty of the view. A lot of times it looks pretty out there, but it doesn't feel quite so pretty out there, right? But that is definitely not the case today. Started this morning in the low 60s in a lot of our suburbs. The mountains and the higher elevations were in the upper 50s. It was just stunning with that low humidity, and we have lots of good news to talk about. We'll talk about how long that humidity, the lower humidity, will stick around, and we'll talk about how long we're going to stay dry. We're also going to touch on the tropics. So lots to cover in these next couple of minutes here. Again, a beautiful, beautiful morning out there, just past 10 o'clock. It is just super comfortable. A temperature in the mid 70s. And just to put in perspective, so the sun has been up for several hours now, and when you get to sunrise is when your temperature is usually the lowest. Now, at sunrise is when we were in the mid 70s yesterday and the days prior. But now, with several hours of daytime heating, we're still only in the mid 70s. So really comfortable, but that dew point in the mid 60s is what's making all the difference. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that's necessarily fall-like dry air in place right now, but it's definitely noticeably more comfortable out there when it comes to that humidity after a couple of days, again, of just really oppressive heat and humidity. Today, afternoon high temperatures will climb into the low 80s if you are in far north Georgia. So we're talking up towards Towns, Union, Rabun County, Fannin County, up in LJ. And then a lot of us will climb into the mid 80s in the suburbs. Atlanta, we have a high temperature of 86 for you, which is much better than the 95, 96, feeling more like 105 to 110 that we've been dealing with the past several days. Overnight tonight, lows will drop into the low 60s, so it'll be another really nice morning, mid 60s inside the perimeter, and we haven't seen mid 60s in a really long time. So it's been, I believe, since June. So we went through all of July without dropping below 70. And now here we are in the mid 60s inside the perimeter. Of course, some of our suburbs have dropped below that, but overall, a really, really nice morning on the way tomorrow. So if you enjoyed today, we have another morning just like it tomorrow. Maybe take some extra time, have your coffee outside, just give yourself a couple of extra minutes, let the dog out in the backyard or the front yard, and just take a sip of your coffee outside and enjoy the beautiful weather that we're really getting lucky with for the summer months. We aren't in fall just yet, even though as you walk into the stores, you probably wouldn't believe it with all the pumpkin that's out there. But tomorrow morning, low to mid 60s. Now here's a look at our muggy meter. So our dew points, once again, they head into the 70s. That's when it starts getting really sticky. We're generally going to stay in the low to mid 60s humidity-wise, or dew point-wise, I should say. So that is going to mean that it's going to feel pretty comfortable. Notice it slowly ticks up as we head into Friday night, but through the day, Saturday, we should be pretty comfortable. Sunday into Tuesday is when that humidity, notice you see that yellow line there staying in that humid and oppressive zone. So we are going to have the summer-like humidity return next week. So again, a nice stretch of drier air, well-deserved after our really hot and humid and stormy days. Again, that lower humidity will stick with us through at least Saturday. And then once we head into Sunday and into next week, that humidity does start to return to the forecast. So several days with really pleasant weather. Get out and enjoy it. When it comes to the temperatures, again, we'll be in the mid-80s today, upper 80s tomorrow. A lot of our suburbs will still stay in the mid-80s for Thursday. A low 90s do return Friday and continue into the weekend. So the weekend will be hot, but again, that humidity stays low for Saturday, so it'll be a dry heat Saturday. Sunday, the humidity does return. So Sunday will probably feel a little more sticky, a little more uncomfortable. I know the Braves are still in town this weekend. If you had plans to go to the Braves game, Saturday will be great. Sunday Sunday will probably be a little bit on the toasty side, so just prepare for that. Any weekend plans really that take you outdoors. Mid-90s Monday and Tuesday. So Monday will probably feel a little closer to 100 degrees outside with that humidity. But take a look at this. Rain, 0, goose egg, all the way through next Tuesday. What? This is great. Have you been waiting to wash your car like me? Have you been waiting to cut the grass? Anything outside? Get any of those projects done that are on the honey-do list? Yeah, no excuse now with the weather because it's going to be dry. It's going to be great. Get out and enjoy it. I know personally my poor car, it's a white car, but I think it looks more gray because it is just so dirty. But I've been like, it's going to rain tomorrow. What's the point? So now, no excuse. Get it all done. There's probably going to be a line wrapped around the corner at all your car washes because everyone's probably just been waiting to get it done over the next several days. So again, no rain today all the way through the beginning of next week. You can see that here with our rain potential. Not even a trace of rain. But the story is different if you had plans to go to Florida. Maybe you're headed to the beach. Maybe you're going to see Mickey in Disney. It's going to be pretty rainy all the way through this week. And part of that is thanks to a tropical wave that could develop off the coast as we head into the end of the week. So some tropical downpours are going to be likely, which will lead to that 4+ inches of rain possible through parts of the eastern coast of Florida on the Atlantic side and central Florida. Again, we're going to be watching this essential tropical disturbance, this disturbed area of weather that could potentially form into something tropical. National Hurricane Center watching it in the Gulf, so that's kind of where it's projected to go, right into the Gulf. Only a 20% chance of development the next few days. Our front will kind of add a little bit of wind shear there for it, but the Gulf is extremely hot. It's not even refreshing. If you were going to the Gulf, if you were going to any of the beaches along the Florida Panhandle and you get in that water, it is going to, I don't think it's really going to be refreshing. It's going to be like bath water, and that is fuel for tropical development. So something we'll be watching, looking at our models long range. It doesn't necessarily have enough time to really get going before it starts to interact with land, which will ultimately help keep it from or prevent it from developing into something very strong, but nonetheless something we're still watching. And again, if you had plans, I know summer break is over, but if you had plans to go to Florida, keep in mind that it looks like it's going to be pretty rainy this week as we watch that potential development of tropical weather. So taking you out to the coast of Africa. Now keep in mind this is August, so this time of year is the time of year where we have our highest uptick of tropical activity. And so off the coast of Africa, a few healthy looking waves starting to roll off with a medium chance of development over the next several days. So over the next week, 50% chance of development in that wave in the front, 40% on the wave in the back, and that wave that's just moving off the coast there with the 40% chance of development, that looks very healthy. Look at how explosive. You see all that red? That's thunderstorms forming around that center of circulation it's trying to get. And so that's an indication of that storm starting to get some strength and get moving. So something we'll be watching. Right now, nothing that we're watching has any kind of threat to land, but we are going to be keeping an eye on the tropics as, again, we're heading closer and closer to the peak of hurricane season. This is typically the time of year the tropics start to wake up from their nap, and it seems like that is happening. So just something we'll be keeping an eye on. But over the next 7 days, you don't have to worry about that at all. I looked at this forecast today and said, wow, that is just stunning. What a beautiful 7-day forecast. And again, we are going to have lower humidity stick with us through Saturday. The mornings will stay comfortable, mid to upper 60s the next few mornings, low 60s if you're north of the city tomorrow morning again. Really just a nice stretch of weather. And then as we head into the weekend, that humidity starts to creep back in on Sunday, so it'll feel hot. It'll be feeling more like the mid to upper 90s Sunday and Monday, but overall we stay dry all the way through next Tuesday. Our next rain chance could come midweek next week, potentially late week, so it doesn't look like we're going to stay completely dry even beyond next 7-day, but we definitely have a very welcomed dry stretch of weather after our very stormy stretch of weather to kick off the month of August. Thanks so much for spending some time with us. Get out and enjoy just the stunning weather today. I think everyone in our newsroom today is just in a better mood because of the weather, so get out and take advantage of it. And if you can't today, you got several days to take advantage of it because it seems like we have some really nice weather sticking around at least through the start of the weekend. Have a wonderful Wednesday, everyone, and we'll catch you here next time.